Hi, I'm Nicholas Lodge and I'd like to introduce you to my new Flower Pro Peony Leaf Mould and Veiner. So this will actually make obviously the single triple leaf for the peony. So this is the single triple leaf here. And then this also is the larger version, which you could use for just single triple leaves but bigger, or you can make obviously the additional two of these which will sit each side of them for the peony. So when we generally make peonies, this will be the configuration I would use, larger and the smaller. Now peony leaf colors vary a lot. I'm just using basically like a moss green gooseberry color in the peony. And when we do the peony, we're going to be using number 7 size ball of paste, all right, for basically the single leaf, and then 1, 2, 3 number 7s here. This smaller one here will be a number 7 and then 2 number 6s. So remember, this is all going to be obviously on your leaflet in your packaging. But so when you come to make that, you'll need obviously, if you're doing this 2 sets of these, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 number 7s and then 2 number 6s. Okay, so I'm going to show you the small triple leaf here. So we have a number 7 size first. So I'm going to take my number 7 size, so this sits 1/3 below, 2/3 above. I'm going to just condition the paste here, and when we do this, we're going to make it into a carrot shape, but we're actually going to put the sort of the fat end of the carrot actually away from us, so the fat end will go at the top. So it's a little bit like more of a rounders bat or a baseball bat shape, so just like this long carrot shape. Okay, I'm going to put just a little flour corn starch onto that. I'm going to put this into the mold like this, just sort of press that in like so. Okay, and then you're going to then, if you're doing the smaller one, you're then going to take 2 number 6 size pieces, and you can just cover that with like a piece of plastic, or you could use a container, something just to go over the top of it. So this will be the number 6 size ones. Again, just a little bit, because we're actually going to blend these together. So you see this is going to go onto here, so this will go onto here, and then you're going to take the 3rd one, which is going to go on. So again, with some of the my new Flower Pro, just because of the shape of the leaves and things, unlike some of the other ones in the original ones, we're putting the wire in afterwards. Okay, so you can see how you have the 3 here like this, and then you're going to take your cosmetic sponge. So now you're going to just sort of work this to the end of the leaf. Remember, you can also use your Dresden tool here, and you see where they're meeting, you're just going to blend this together. Now, so when you do the larger triple leaf, which is this one, this is going to be 3 number 7s, number 7, number 7, number 7. You see the pieces will come down like this. I'm just going to bring these down to the bottom here like so. Again, I'm just going to create just like a little bit of a slight ridge here with my fingers. Remember, you can also do that with your, just use your tool here just to sort of give you a little bit of, as I said, just where the wire is going to go into. Then we're going to take a 24 gauge wire. I'm going to put some egg white onto this wire, so just a little bit of egg white onto there. And then this is going to just slide, so again, just going to go into the little trough here. I'm just going to just slide this into the leaf. So I'm going to just thread this into the leaf, so you sort of feel it tickle your finger, wants to go in to about halfway up. So it's actually about 1/3 of the way into this top piece. And then you can just, you know, if your wire's visible, just repress that onto the back, okay? I'm just going to just work this like so. Okay, and then we're going to just flex this mold. So just going to flex the mold, so this is going to come out of the mold like this. So you see how you have this beautiful peony leaf. Okay, and then you're going to turn this over onto your pad or your mini pad here, and then just going to work the edge. And you can work the edge with, you can use your small companion tool like this, so you can work that, or you could take a here like a medium ball tool and just going to just work around your edge a little bit. Okay, and then you're going to turn this over, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to just take this off the edge of your mat and just hollow that around your companion tool. And when we dry this, we're going to dry this into a former like this, and you want to put this in sort of like symmetrical, meaning that the pieces sort of dry symmetrically. So you see how they would go, like this one is going down the center, and then I've got almost like two wings here, like this. You see how they sort of sit in. So when you put them in, they want to sort of, it's not like a random, like a rose leaf where you just dry it on sort of an, you want to dry it a little bit like, as I said, like a V shape, and then the two wing parts come here, like so. So you see that when it dries, it's going to look sort of symmetrical. See, both of those are obviously curved in the same way, okay? And so that's sort of how you would do your leaves. And then we'll let these dry, and so in the next section, I'm going to show you how we put these together and how we color them and use them with the peony. So once these are dry, we're going to tape the components. So we're going to just go round with your floral tape, slide this up to the base of the leaf. Just come down about 2.5 centimeters, about an inch. Just going to tape this, just slide this up to the bottom. Then using a pair of pliers, we're going to now take your leaves here. So literally about 5 millimeters down the stem, okay? So about 1/4 inch, you're going to bend one leaf to the right, and you're going to bend one leaf to the left. Okay, and then these leaves are going to just be positioned, so they're pretty much just going to come about 5 millimeters down the stem. So you're going to see about 5 millimeters of each of the wires. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so your leaves will just come in like this. And then we're going to take a 24 gauge wire, and we're just going to add a 24 gauge wire here. And just this is just really going to extend the length of the, because they're actually on 24 gauge wires. These two side ones are on 26, but you're just going to just tape this onto a 24, and this will just give a little bit of length to this to come behind the peony, because especially if you're using this on a large peony, you need to make sure that you have enough, obviously, length on the wire. We're going to use foliage green, so this is a foliage green color, so I'm going to use this. I'm just going to just brush this around the edge of the leaf. So it's going to come around your edge with the foliage. So you're just going to get this darker green around your edge here. So you get almost like this looks a bit like almost a shadow or like a airbrush effect. I'm going to do this on the, you see how here when I'm doing this, rather than doing like this, which I did on the peony, I'm just using the brush and just rubbing the brush down. This would be like if I was doing the edge of, say, an orchid. I would just use the brush like this, and just going to brush down the leaf like that. Okay, and then you would do also the same on the back. So I'm just going to do that on the back here. And then once you've done that on the back, we're going to just put a little green, darker green down the center. So we're going to use a little bit of a darker green here, and you can use here you can use a smaller flat brush there. So you're actually going to just do like a stripe, almost like down the middle of each of the lateral veins. And the lateral vein is your central vein. So you're just going to just do a vein coming down here. Just on the back, you're just going to do like a little bit of a stripe, because we don't have obviously veining on the back here. Now some leaves have, you know, defined veining, but just generally on a leaf like a peony, you don't really, because of the way the peony leaves assembles, you really don't need veining on the back of them. But you could if you wanted to, like for example the poinsettia back, while it's in the mold, you could actually press the poinsettia back on 1, 2, and 3. But as I said, so some of the obviously double-sided veiners, but generally for flowers like peonies or flowers is where really I would focus more on that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of fuchsia, which is the color I used on the classic peony. Okay, so on the classic peony I used fuchsia. So if you were doing, say, a red peony, whatever color you use on the flower, use the same color. So you're just going to put just a little touch of that color just at the very, very sort of base of the leaf here, front and back. Just a little touch of that color just onto the sort of the stem part. Okay. So just as I said, just a little bit of the soft colour onto there. Now then we're going to, finishing touches on these leaves would be just to steam them. So we're just going to just steam the leaf. And just lightly steam it, alright, because the steam, what that's going to do is going to set the colour. And so we're just going to lightly steam the leaf. So now the steam is coming out. Just going to just lightly steam, just a second. And then I'm going to take here my spray lacquer, so I'm going to use just lightly spray. Remember, always do this on a protected surface, like in a box, trash can, rubbish can, you know, just sort of something where you're not gonna, don't do this directly on your work surface or obviously in the sink or things. And so that's going to obviously evaporate, and that's going to be ready to go with the peony. Now when we assemble the peony, okay, so this is the classic peony here. So first of all, I'm going to take my classic peony, I'm going to just sort of bend the peony like a banana shape, alright? So you see how I'm just going to bend that like a banana shape. So I'm going to take some single leaves, alright, this is the small single leaf one. So we're going to use this. So we're just going to take 2 of these. I'm going to bend one to the right, about 5 millimeters down. And I'm going to take some floral tape. So with some floral tape, I'm going to tape this in. This is very much a classic way. When I do a lot of my classes, for example, when I teach a flower like a gardenia, you know, my students make basically a gardenia flower. So think out like the peony, they make a gardenia bud like the peony bud. And then we would make, like, for example, of course, gardenia leaves. And the plain leaf cutter, this plain part here, or the mold here, you could use this for gardenia leaves, cherry blossom leaves, many, many leaves. I meant to have mentioned that when I showed it. But this is a very useful, basically, mold to use for making just plain leaves. But so then I would usually attach like 2 plain leaves to my gardenia bud. And then, of course, then you'd put it to the flower. And then you'd have 3 leaves which would come up from the back. But you see how I'm going to take my leaves here, going to then just tape this together. And then remember, we have filmed a called Finishing Touches, so that's going to actually sort of show how I would put these various flowers onto cakes. All right, so because obviously in the segments I'm showing how I would actually wire them together, but in the, as I said, the separate YouTube, you can find that on the Flower Pro information, and that's going to actually show how we would put the flowers onto a cake, because that's, as I said, an important thing. And of course several of you have had feedback from, especially some of our Facebook members, our Flower Pro Facebook members, that you'd like to sort of see how you'd put flowers together. Anyway, so this is obviously your leaves, but this is very much a classic presentation. This could be a rose and a rosebud, it could be a peony as we're doing, or it could be, as I said, a gardenia. And so then we're going to take the peony here. So this is going to come from behind the peony. So just sort of open that out. So you want to sort of just see the leaves here. So I'm going to have my leaves visible. Alright, so you want to just sort of have that coming up from behind. And then we're going to just tape this into place here. So now we're going to just tape this into position. Because you won't really sort of see that stem, because when that sits into the cake, really all you're going to see is the beautiful flower and then the leaves, okay? And then you're going to take, and so I'm going to then take my triple leaves here. You want to have these, so they want to come out so they're visible. So you're going to come out sort of like this, okay? And then you're going to put the other one in there as well, okay? But I'm going to show you some other options when I show you putting this onto a cake, how you could actually just put the flower and the bud in one part of the holder, and then you can put the leaves in here. But you're just going to just take your, and then this will be your other peony. So you see how I'm just going to hold this and then going to take this into place. Now you can of course add ribbons. A lot of times, you know, on a cake, wedding cake, birthday cake, anniversary cake, you will often see people using ribbons. Sometimes ribbons can be distracting, and especially like garden flower like a peony, a lot of times I would prefer to use that just as a natural on its own, okay? Because it sort of it sometimes distracts away from that sort of garden look. You know, generally floristry flowers are often arranged with ribbons and things. So then you're just going to just cut the wire here. It's obviously a fairly substantial wire. So here you have your beautiful peony here, and obviously this is a stunning flower, all created with Flower Pro, all created with basically, other than the blossom cutter we used for the calyx, you know, all of this is just straight out of a mold. So no expense of having to buy cutters and veiners, everything is in one in the Flower Pro. So a really stunning flower, and as I said, I hope you will enjoy making these. You know, we're looking forward to, obviously, especially with some of these new bigger flowers and different varieties, seeing all of you post on our obviously social media, on our Facebook Flower Pro page, all the beautiful flowers and colors you will be making with these. So I hope you will enjoy that, and so this is your peony finished.